I just finished reading Crossroads of Twilight, book 10 of The Wheel of Time, and I felt somewhat compelled to just talk about it. And after having already talked to all my friends and family about it, thought, why not just make a video? There's kind of three main things I feel like I want to talk about. The read-along, the official read-along online that I've been following, the Slog, and what my experience with that has been, and lastly, just kind of not a recap or a summary, but just like my thoughts or feelings on books basically 7 through 10. Because the last time I made one of these videos, not including the New Spring prequel, was at the end of book 6. First off, to talk about the official read-along on Reddit, I started doing that after I think I finished book 6 or somewhere around there. And I've gotten a lot more out of reading these, doing it in tandem with the read-along than I would have done otherwise on my own. Huge shout out to the moderator who put it all together. Also shout out to all the contributors, other people who were doing the read along when it happened, which was like 2 years ago. Because a lot of their thoughts and like theories and input and things that they've written have like helped me notice stuff or pick up on things that I think I would have otherwise missed out on or not picked up on. A side note, it happened like 2 years ago, and I'm just kind of going through it now, reading each section as I finish this corresponding section in the book, and it feels like it's happening in real time to me. It's almost like it feels like time travel, honestly. If you haven't read this before and you want to, I strongly recommend going to do the read along on Reddit. And there's even like a break, like you can participate in the newbie thread, which is like first time readers, versus the veteran thread, people who are reading it again have already gone through it. So, okay, the other thing to talk about, I think, is the Slog. Now, from what I gather, it's a bit controversial. Some people think the Slog is a lot bigger. Some people think it is a lot smaller. My personal experience is that this book was the only one that felt like a slog to me. And even then, it was like only part of this book. For me, after having finished book 9, there was at the end of that book what I would consider like a pretty world-changing event. And that set up like a bunch of opportunity and possibilities for things to be completely different in the next book. And I was so excited to get in and like explore how everyone would react to this new thing. Book 10 does not deliver on that. In fact, it rewinds, I think it's like 10 days or something, and then you get like everyone else's point of view leading up to that event. So I could really see like how if you were reading this when they came out in real time, you wait who knows how long, a year, I don't know how long it was, for the next book to come out to see what happens, and then you read the whole thing and you don't even get like the satisfaction of knowing like how everyone is going to react to this big event that has happened at the end of the last book. So that's part of why it was a slog for me, is the thing that I was expecting or hoping to get to, we didn't quite get. Another reason it was kind of sluggish was that it didn't introduce like a whole lot more world building. I think that's one thing that Robert Jordan has done really well throughout the series, is continue to unveil or like explore these different systems, the different way the dream world works or the magic system or whatever, and like continue to give you more information on that throughout. And there wasn't a whole lot of that in this either. So for me, the books preceding this one didn't really fall into a slog. They maybe were slow, like the pace of things has slowed down, but there were still enough like plot driving events that happened in them that they didn't feel like it was a slog. And it, was still new and fresh, and we were still exploring new things. This one for me slowed down a lot, particularly one section where we were with Elaine. That part was like kind of brutal. It was mostly just confusing and it was overwhelming, and I kind of just trudged through it until we could get to the rest of it. That comprised like maybe the first 60% of this book. After that, I felt like it picked back up, got back into things. We had some stuff move along, more plot points happened, and we kind of finally at the end of this book started to get back to Rand, which is the person that I wanted to get back to all along, to see how things would be changing in this book. So that's kind of my take on the slog. This one's the only one for me so far that has felt like it's been work to get through. I think if you're a person who is kind of just doing like the overlying or like surface level narrative, like the big major story points, you're going to feel like maybe starting at 7, the slog is going to hit. But there's so much other fun little like subplots and other things going on in all those other books from 7, 8, 9, that those to me felt like they were fun. And especially going through the read along, it helped those be a lot more engaging and satisfying and fun, interesting to read. So I could feel it once I got through like the part with Elaine. I felt like I was past the slog and things picked up. The ending was fun. There were some good moments. From what I hear, books 11 to the end, it just hits like full steam ahead, and is that how you say it? Full speed ahead, and just hits hard all the way to the end. So I'm excited to do that. Lastly, for the book itself and the sections kind of leading into that, is how much people misunderstand or underestimate the people that they maybe grew up with, who they haven't seen in a while. There's like Elaine and her brother, and they get separated, and she's off doing one thing and he's off doing another thing, and he just has these thoughts about like, there's no way she could possibly be doing anything like this. Turns out that's exactly what she's doing. And the miscommunication thing is a continual motif throughout the series. In book 9, there's finally some payoff there. Rand gets, back together with some of his original, like, Emmons Field main cast people. Try not to spoil anything here. But they finally, like, have a moment where they're together, they talk things out, they understand each other, they even team up, and they do this big thing. And so like that to me was like pretty big, movement forward, which made 9, for example, not feel at all slow. 10 had a little bit less of that. There were a few things that I realized happened to all of the different people in their different POVs independently of each other. And then at the end, I think they're kind of like culminating, setting it up so that perhaps in the next book, they're all going to hopefully get kind of back together, at least on the same page, and they're all sort of doing like a similar thing. There was even one part about this book, which was in the section that I considered the slog, that was, I thought, like kind of riveting in like a weird way. It was a scene where these two women are doing laundry. They've both sort of fallen from positions of like nobility into being servants. While it could be considered super boring, I thought it was really interesting, just like the thought process that the character was going through, like worrying about the laundry and being irritated at herself that she was worried about the laundry, or feeling relief in that like the laundry was clean because she wanted to just like do her good job as a servant, because like having played that role now for as long as she had like gotten into her brain and like changed the way that she thought about herself. And also how she was trying to like hang on to her dignity that she had from before, and just kind of interesting stuff like that. That was like a 1.5 pages of like laundry and her thoughts about laundry that I thought was like kind of good, even though it was part of the boring parts. So, we're through it. I'm excited to read the next bit of things. Like, again, I feel like the slog only exists for about 60% of book 10, and that's it. Otherwise, books 7 through 9, while slow and maybe like lost me a little bit here and there, didn't feel like they were too slow, and I'm stoked to get on to 11 to the end. 11 through 14. I'm not going to make any promises, but when I finish the series, I might do another check-in, another little video. If you want to see that, let me know, or smash the subscribe button or something. But yeah, there it is. Crossroads of Twilight, and some of those other ones up there.